All right. Good evening. I would like to call this meeting of the Anne Arundel County Police Accountability Board to order. My name is Jeanette Ortiz, and I am the PAB Chair. Thank you to everyone who is joining us in this meeting as panelists or watching. All right, so first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. So the audio recording of the February 26th meeting of the PAB will serve as the minutes for that meeting. And is there a motion to approve the February 26th meeting minutes / yeah.
I move to approve the minutes.
There a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so the minutes are approved. We will now move on to the public comment period. So just a few friendly reminders. We'll accept public comments. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to provide public comment. If a speaker is representing an organization, that person will have 5 minutes to provide public comment. A timer will be used to keep time. Once the buzzer sounds, please kindly wrap up your thoughts. Any remaining time may not be allocated to another speaker, but certainly another speaker can feel free to provide comment. We do ask that the comments remain civil and appropriate for the various audiences that may be watching the meeting. And the board cannot discuss any specific cases. And it is not the practice of the board to engage and back and forth with speakers. So let's begin with public comment. We did not have anyone submit their name prior to this meeting. Is there anyone in attendance that would like to provide any comments to the PAB this evening?
Madam Chair, I see no hands raised for the attendees.
Great, thanks, Moya. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, then we will move on. Next on the agenda, we have update from Ms. Moya Panda from the Office of Police Accountability.
Good evening, everyone. Last meeting, I mentioned a couple of bills that were in the House and the Senate, and I'm just one more bill that I wanted to talk about, and that's Senate Bill 608, and it's regarding the year and a day timeline. So as you know, the Administrative Charging Committee has a year and a day to review the investigation that the law enforcement agency has sent over and have to make a decision within that time period. So this bill was introduced in January 26, 2024, and they had some amendments to that bill on March 12th, 2024, and they have a hearing scheduled for that bill on March 28th, 2024. I just wanted to read quickly the changes that would matter if the bill is successful. So, and I want to read it so I don't make sure I'm not missing anything. If alleged police officer misconduct is related to activity that reasonably appears to be the subject of a criminal investigation, an administrative charging committee or law enforcement agency shall file any administrative charges within 1 year and 1 day from the date of, and there's 3 sections. The investigating law enforcement agency determination that the matter is not related to criminal activity. 2, the final disposition of all related criminal charges. And 3, the administrative charging committee or law enforcement agency's receipt of notice that the appropriate prosecutorial authority declined to file criminal charges. And this is important because, you know, there's a lot of times when a case is involving an officer that has criminal cases pending, or even a witness that has criminal case pending, you know, you kind of have to stop and you can sometimes, or organizations are doing parallel investigations, but you can't compel an officer to give a statement in administrative, hearing when they're pending a criminal case. So this is going to be a very important bill to watch. I will be watching that hearing, and I invite you all to watch that hearing online as well. So I'll keep you posted, but that hearing is March 28th at 1 p.m. Again, it's Senate Bill 608. And that's, as you all know, in our annual report, that was one of our recommendations for the Senate and the House to address that deadline. So I'll keep you posted. With respect to the ACC, their next meeting date is April 1st of 2024, and they will be hearing 4 cases on that date. As you know, we are down 1 member on the ACC. We did have some interviews, and we hope to have a fully functioning ACC of 5 members shortly. We are trying to get it done within the appropriate timeline because there is a training that the ACC members have to attend at the end of April. So we're hoping to get that members seated, selected, and trained by that date. So I'll keep you posted with that as well. And the next PAB meeting for you all will be May 20th, 2024. So Madam Chair, that completes my report.
Thank you so much for that update and all of that information. Are there any questions from PAB members? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next agenda item. So this evening we have Mr. Fred Delp here to provide a presentation to the board members regarding his work with, do we pronounce it NAMI or NAMI of Anne Arundel County?
Either one, NAMI doesn't matter.
NAMI, okay. So I'll go with NAMI because that's how I would normally say it. Anne Arundel, and share the work that he is doing there and share his perspective on how police reform has or could impact the work that he is doing. So thank you for Danny to helping to coordinate Mr. Delp being here before us today. And just as a friendly reminder to those in the public, the PAB has been hearing from various organizations in the Anne Arundel County community to better educate ourselves on the various issues facing citizens in Anne Arundel and how the different organizations interface with law enforcement and how police reform may have impacted the work that they do. So without further ado, Mr. Delp, you have about 15 minutes to present, and thank you again for being here this evening.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. My name is Fred Delp. I'm the executive director of NAMI Anne Arundel County. I speak to a lot of groups and organizations. Very seldom does anybody what NAMI stands for. It's National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are a grassroots organization, and our motto is that we're dedicated to improving the quality of lives of those individuals with mental illness and also supporting their families, loved ones, parents, and caregivers all at the same time. There is a national office in Washington, D.C., and each state has an office. Ours is in Columbia, Maryland. And then the larger counties of each state have an affiliate. We're the Anne Arundel County affiliate. The 5 largest in our state are Montgomery County, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, Howard County, and also Prince George's County. The outlying areas do not have affiliates, or they have a small one they're trying to get started, or they might join in with one of the larger ones. So we are out there to help people with mental illness. We're a grassroots organization. We get down with the people, providing education, training, support, and advocacy. We're always advocating for better services, such as hospital beds, more hospital beds, working with the police department. We work with the CIT and police. One of the CIT policemen is trained is on our board of directors. Steve Thomas, the head of CIT, used to be, he moved up to the state Maryland board, and now we have Sergeant Newborn that's on our board of directors right now. So we're like any nonprofit 501(c)(3). We have a board of directors, have our annual meetings, have our monthly meetings, things like that, and we all participate, and we have a group of volunteers that help us. So for advocacy, we're always out there going to various places advocating. We spend a lot of time at our state legislatures, our county executives, the city or state county council people talking about things. We go to our hospitals a lot, speaking to the very higher ups about more beds, more money, more funding, how they can make things better. We actually go and visit the patients in both of our hospitals in Anne Arundel County each month and talk to them. When they're released, they could come to our programs, and they could come to, their parents could come to our programs, things like that. So we're always advocating for better services, things like that. For training, we're all trained. We're not psychiatrists, we're not therapists, but most of us have a son or daughter we've cared for many years. And I'm one of those that's cared for a son with his mental illness for many years. And we've learned a lot through the system, the good parts of the system, the bad parts, where it needs improvements, things like that. So we get out and speak to a lot of different groups about that, talking about that. And we're trained with some classes on how to facilitate things better. We don't have all the answers all the time, but we have most of the answers, and we can help people that are coming to our groups. So then we also have support groups. And these support groups, we have support groups for the person with mental health challenges, and we have support groups for the parents and loved ones. And believe me, we start off with 2, and we're up to 5 support groups now each month. And that's just for those family parents, the parents or loved ones taking care of someone. It could be a father or a mother for a young man or young woman, or it could be a husband for a wife, wife for a husband. Last month, we had 3 sisters coming. They're trying to support their sister, things like that. We average 15 to 20 people in these various meetings. And it is really tough. Families are being devastated. They come in, a lot of tears and crying, and they don't know where to go, what to do next, how to get help. And we try to help them navigate the system, provide them the support we give, and help them with some of their questions where they can go for some more answers. So we do a lot of that training and support. And then we do education. We have education classes throughout the county at different times. We'll have one at the hospital on Mental Health 101, or one on SSDI, Social Security Disability Income, or group housing, things like that for people in the mental health area, issues, things like that. So we're always educating with community events. But our biggest thing, we hold these classes called family to family education classes. That's our best one, probably the signature course of NAMI. It's an 8-week course for 2.5 hours each night. We pick a night, say a Thursday night for 8 straight weeks. People come. Class can go up to 25. Everyone is nearly full, just about every time. We've turned people away. And each week it's a different topic. Maybe one week on the brain, another week on the medicines, another week on all the terminology, another week on the difference between a psychiatrist, therapist, another week on what is, how can a doctor, just your general doctor, help, another week on communication skills, how to communicate better, the things to say and not to say, or how to say things to someone exhibiting a psychosis. All these different things, these 8 weeks of classes. And people come away with a certificate and everything, and everybody comes away with the same thing. I didn't know I was alone in this. Now I feel so much better, because so many people feel they're stuck alone in this and don't understand. So we do this education. Then we do another one, and that's for persons over 18. But then we also do one for parents or loved ones that are under 18. And that's the fastest growing area we're doing right now. And then we have a peer-to-peer course. The peer-to-peer course is where it's an 8-week course where the ones peers with a mental illness are in a class themselves. And they have the same topics, basically, the brain, education, communications, how to help each other. And that peer-to-peer is a great class for those exhibiting mental health challenges. The other one I mentioned, under 18 years old, is called the NAMI Basics course. And NAMI used to be just for persons over 18, but in the last 2 years, it's really changed. Now we're moving down the program into 18 to adolescents. That's the biggest problem we're having now, adolescents. In our county, I'm sorry to say, does not have one psychiatric bed. If somebody needs admitted for psychosis or what, does not have one bed for children under 18. Our 2 hospitals, if you know where they are, McNew Hospital on Riva Road, and in Baltimore Washington Medical Center, they have 40 beds total, but they're for only 18 and over, not under 18. So if an adolescent is exhibiting symptoms and suicidal thoughts and needs to be admitted, he has to go to Shepherd Pratt up in Towson, or over to Washington, D.C., or Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. We do not have one bed. And we are advocating for our hospitals to find beds, to make beds for children under 18. We have so many parents coming to us with adolescents with psychiatric problems that need admitted, need help, but we don't have beds for them in our county. And it's a real shame. So we're really pushing and trying to get our hospitals to move out on something like that. Those are our main signature courses. The family to family for the parents, the peer-to-peer for the ones with an illness, and then the support groups. I'm really proud of our connection support group. That's the one with those with mental illness issues. They meet twice a month, and they do some extra things. A lot of them are lonely, don't have any friends. They don't work, they don't drive. So we have this connection support group, and they come and they have their meetings to try to help each other out. Their parents can't come with them, it's just them. But they also do some things. They'll have a bowling night, a pizza night, walk on the trail, different activities to help them. So that's really good for them. So the support groups and the education courses are the big things we're doing. Those are the main ones, but now we're getting into the schools. We do a program called Parents and Teachers and Allies and Ending the Silence, where we go into the schools and give presentations to the parents, PTA, the faculty, to the students on early warning signs to watch for and what is mental illness and what you can do about it. So we went into the schools. Churches are calling us because so many churches, the pastors or priests or whoever, they're trained in the Bible and they're trained in helping marriages, but they're not trained in psychiatry. They're not trained in mental illness. They call us in to give classes to their church. So places like that. Some corporations in the county have called us in to give presentations to their group. Some of the statistics are amazing. 1 out of 5 people exhibit some type of mental illness in any year. It could be small, large, screaming along, you have to be admitted, but some kind of 1 out of 5 every year. And if you take a large corporation like Northrop Grumman or some company in the county, there's a lot of people suffering, and these company call us to come in and talk to them. So that's who we are and what we do. We work closely with the Anne Arundel County Mental Health Agency, Mr. Pittman at the executive's office. We work with the behavioral agencies in the county. I'm not sure if you know what those are, but in our county, we have Arundel Lodge and down on Route 2 South in Edgewater. We have Vesta in Odenton. We have psychotherapeutic services in Arnold. And then we have in Glen Burnie, Omni House, Shepherd Pratt. These are behavioral centers where people can go during the day and have classes and lunch and get some help there and various things. Some of them provide housing, like Arundel Lodge has 53 houses for people to go into. They have places where they can help them get jobs, job search, helping them get jobs. There's psychiatrists there, there's therapists are there. So we work with all of these organizations. And then we work with the police department, and the CIT, Annapolis Police, has us come in and give presentations. Our county police, we work closely with them. CIT, I even go out and give training sessions to our CIT, newly trained CIT officers when they're going through CIT, crisis intervention training, talk to them. So we're all over the county doing a lot of great things. We do everything for free. That's the main thing, is people never have to pay 1 cent according to the NAMI rules for anything. So we get our funding through ourselves or for individuals that will donate funds. We have one large event this year. It's coming up May 18th. We're having a gala and awards dinner. We actually keep it as cheap as we can. $125 a person for a meal and the whole evening. A lot of people, big galas and things are $300-400. The purpose of it is to raise awareness about mental illness, to bring together everybody in the room. All those groups I talked to you will be coming to this gala, and we give out Shining Star Awards to key people in our county that work so much in mental illness. So that's who we are and what we do. I could go on about a lot more things. We give presentations and what the various mental illnesses are and things like that. But that's what we are. We're out there supporting, educating people, because there's so much going on that people don't understand. A lot of people feel the mental health system is broken. I wouldn't go say as far as broken, but it needs a lot of help. It's not, and for hospitals, it's not a money maker. People with cancer get a lot more attention than mental illness gets. I know cancer is very serious. I've been involved in that too, but mental illness sort of takes a back row and the stigma against it. Some people don't want to be known that they have a mental illness, or their family members do, or anything. We did have a hard time in the African-American community, but now we have 2 people on our board, and we're getting into a lot of activities. We went to an African-American church and did a great presentation. One of the ladies became one of our leaders in our support groups. The hardest area for us to reach right now is the Hispanic community. We have everything printed up to help all the brochures and everything for the Hispanic community, but we can't find any people in the Hispanic community that want to lead with us, want to teach a course and lead a course. So if you get any help in that, we really like it. We're really searching. We've tried many times, 2-3 years. Just somebody says they will and then they won't. It's just very difficult for that community, but we're doing great things. We've been growing bigger and bigger all the time. We don't have an office. We work at our homes, and we use various offices around the county to do our classes and everything. The police have done a great job working with this. We actually, at our last gala a couple years before COVID, we gave a special achievement award to the Anne Arundel County Police Chief at that time. And CIT is a great group that works with us. So that's sort of a nutshell of who we are and what we do in 10 or 15 minutes. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you so much. That was very comprehensive, and it's pretty amazing that you're able to provide all of those services and resources to the community free of charge. That's amazing. I will open it up to questions for board members.
I don't
see
have a-
Danny.
Sorry.
Danny and then Kim.
So mine's less of a question, but I just wanted to thank Fred for being here again and presenting. And I just wanted to kind of echo that, when we went to our community town halls, I know the one specifically, we got a lot of feedback about mental health and policing. And I think, organizations like Fred's and how they connect community members with support. I mean, we see complaints, and there are sometimes complaints that are clearly somebody having a mental health crisis, right? So there's a lot of things to be learned by connecting resources with people in our community and for our county's officers too. I mean, we've heard a lot about the mental health interventions that are provided, but NAMI is another resource there as well. And I just want to say thank you again. It was a great presentation, Fred.
Thanks, Danny. Kim?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Delp as well. It was a very comprehensive presentation, as you said, Jeanette. It was really interesting that the way in which you have covered so many bases, and I hope you'll come back and we could find ways to really work together and bring about some positive change. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. I just been learning about your organization too, and you guys do a lot of great things. And thank you. And if there's any time you have another organization or some group we could speak to, let us know. If you'd like to help come to our gala, let Danny know too. Danny's on your group here, and just come back to us anytime. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Delp. Any other questions? I see Barney.
Yeah, Fred, I've got one big question for you. And how long have you all been in existence in Anne Arundel County?
About 11 years.
Have you kept statistics on the rise, or is there a rise in the number of cases you've had with different age groups?
I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but we do have some statistics that for the rise, but not specifically for age groups. We don't keep it from that, but we do know between 18 and 24 is where most of our people come to us. The parents come to us, their age of their sons or daughters, 18 to 24. Out of high school or in college. Most of the patients who come to us 18 to 24. One statistic I didn't mention is when I first came into it, people came in with just an illness. You had schizophrenia, bipolar, OCD, PTSD, things like that. Now it's changed. Now people are coming to us mental illness with either a drug or alcohol dependency also. And that's a big statistic. 70% of the people going in the hospitals for a psychotic break have a mental illness with drug or alcohol related. So it's changed a lot. This new marijuana and things that are out there at the young people is so strong, it's really hurting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'll just also add that I think something else to note, something that Fred's group talks about a lot too. So we have drug court in Anne Arundel County for people that are actively committing some kind of a crime while they were intoxicated or under the influence. Something with mental illness, there are more mental illness types of court that could be grown in the county to actually mandate that ongoing mental health treatment, because like drugs and alcohol, if you don't maintain a treatment program of your medications, your therapy, your treatment, then easily you could become a state where you're dangerous to yourself or somebody else again, right? So something else we can look at. And also there were a couple laws under consideration this year to expand some access to things like that, like mandated outpatient treatment and whatnot.
I was just going to mention that I've been
Yes.
tracking that in my 9-to-5 job. Yes, there's a lot
Yes.
of legislation this year.
Yes, thank you, Danny. I didn't want to go on too long, but two of our key areas are, one, to have a mental health court in our county The other counties have one. We do not have one. So we're trying to talk to the right people in the system to start to establish a mental health court for those committing crimes that have real mental health problems. And then the other, as I said, we're trying to get one of our hospitals to increase or start adolescent beds. Those are two big things we're trying to do.
Thank you. A couple of things. I wonder if that AOT bill that the governor's, the administration was introduced this session, that seems to be moving, will likely pass, may help with the mental health
Yes.
support aspect of that.
Yes,
And
it
then
should.
with regards to the Latino community in the county, I'm going to reach out with some potential contacts. Maybe you've reached out to them, maybe not. But however I can help with that, I'd be happy to do so, because I think that, mental health is difficult for all communities and all folks to talk about. And I think, if you have language barriers or cultural differences, makes it it can be difficult for some communities, but there's a particular organization I'm thinking of. So I will reach out to you separately on that.
Thank
But
you.
thank you again for taking the time to be with us this evening. Oh, and I just want to say that it's awesome, the collaboration that you have with the Anne Arundel Police Department in Annapolis, and the work that you do and the training and the presentations you provide. Because when we did our Citizens Police Academy, which I know the name has changed, but it escapes me, that was one of the things they talked about with CIT and crisis response, and
Yes.
the very specialized training for those officers to be part of CIT. So it's great to know that they're working with you. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, thank you again, and hopefully we will see you again in the near future.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, we will move on to the next agenda item. So this is our meeting for our law enforcement agency quarterly updates. And normally we don't schedule other presentations, but we really wanted to get Mr. Delp before the PAB. So thank you to the agencies for allowing for that additional time here. So just friendly reminders, please keep your reports to 15 minutes or less. And then we always send out an email asking for specific information regarding the number of complaints received since the implementation of the Police Reform Act, number of complaints received since the last quarterly report to the board, a brief summary of these complaints, and some of the stuff has been sent to us in writing, but whatever you are able to discuss that could be informative in this meeting is always greatly appreciated, particularly any trends that you might be seeing. That would be really interesting to us here in this meeting. Any compliments you've received since the last quarterly report, any community engagement. I know the sheriff's office sent us some of the work that they've been doing since the last meeting, and obviously any other relevant information that you think would be helpful for us to know. So any agency collaborations, trainings, etc., that you have participated in. So we will go with Anne Arundel County Community College, Lieutenant Donato. I know that you all don't have any complaints. Yay you. But if there was anything else that you wanted to share with us as far as any sort of like engagement, campus engagements, or any trainings or anything that you thought would be helpful, or something that you think we would like to know, that would be great.
So we have a full-time sergeant that I hate to use the term community, it's the campus, but that sergeant's job is to keep the feel and the pulse here. We have several crime prevention programs that are going that have helped with keeping crime down. We have a large thief auto issue here and there, so we look at preventative maintenance on that, making sure people are locking their cars, making sure they're not leaving laptops and cell phones visible. If we do have a crime, we send the bulletin out in real time just so people are alerted to it. We also have a RAD program, which is like a safety element for date violence or if you're attacked. Those are really the only things that we really have to do here. As far as the complaints, I mean, in my experience, you can do everything right and still get a complaint. You can do everything wrong and not get a complaint. I don't think there's really a specific rhyme or reason to it. But we, at the ground level, we institute, the concept of fair and non-biased professional law enforcement treatment to everybody. And I guess as long as we do that, if we do get a complaint, we'll address it. But that's our creed. I mean, we treat everybody fairly, equally, and with respect. And that's a two-way street here. And if we get a complaint, we'll obviously follow the policy. Hopefully we won't get one, but you never can tell. I'm not going to say it couldn't happen here. Most of my experience, it came with proactive enforcement, and we don't really have a lot of that here. But you can be polite to someone and follow every rule, and they still don't feel satisfied, and that's what complaints are about. So we're always open to upgrades and suggestions, but right now everything's running smoothly.
Great, thank you so much for sharing that information. Are there any questions from PAB members? I do have one question. I know obviously with COVID really impacted, campus and, students with virtual learning, and you still saw some of that even after we started getting back onto campus. Are you finding that, since students started coming back to campus, is it back to sort of like normal levels of folks on campus? Or are you finding that you're still finding a less amount of bodies, if you will, and students and people on campus because folks are taking advantage of virtual classes and things of that nature?
I would say it's a split. There's probably an increase in online learning everywhere.
Yeah.
But as far as the population, we're getting back to the normal levels of police work, for lack of a better term. We'll have occasional crimes again. Most of what we will deal with is mental health stuff. That's why that presentation was good. We have bid officers, CIT officers here, and especially during stressful time periods like exams, we'll see an increase in stuff like that. So I mean, that's one of our main jobs, is helping with mental health crises. So the population is filling back up, though.
Great. Thank you for that information.
Sure.
All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, thank you so much. You're welcome to stay, but obviously not required to.
Thank you.
Thank you again. All right. And from the Crofton Police Department, we have Chief Jett. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm sorry I was having technical difficulties here, but good evening, everybody. I guess like our last meeting, I guess be careful what you wish for, because I have complaint number 2 finally, and it's actually it's got a little bit more meat to the bone, I should say, than my last one with a cell phone complaint. So, and I apologize to some of the PAB members that may have got multiple emails from me in reference to this case. We're trying to figure out the, I guess, technical difficulties of sharing evidence through evidence.com. And we've pretty much figured that out. I think there's been some issues with, not really issues, but how the evidence should be presented to you. And I know there's where you guys have pro accounts through Anne Arundel County Police, and we don't actually offer that. So I think that's where we were with that. But talking with I guess I was talking with Moya and darn it, why am I drawing a blank all of a sudden? Jen, I'm sorry. And going back and forth with her, but I think the actual case did make it to you guys, and everybody's had a chance to view it. I think April 1st is the ACC hearing in reference to it that I will be attending for the first time. So, well, attending, but being put in the witness room, I guess you should say. I guess you don't really get to attend it, but it's been a learning process for us, and I'm actually kind of grateful for it. Although I believe this is unfounded due to the investigation investigating it. I mean, it's going to be up to the ACC to make their determination, but it's been a learning process for us. And right now, the way it sits, I guess the way we're supplying this information to you is okay. I imagine it can improve in the future upon, I guess, communication and talking back and forth and us better understanding the process. But so far, so good. And I'm glad we've been able to, I'm not glad because I don't like complaints. I don't like complaints, but I'm glad we had the learning process for it as far as getting through our first somewhat serious complaint that had to travel up the PAB and out to the ACC. So it's a learning experience for us, and I'm glad to have had that. And like I said, we're tackling the obstacles, but we're making it work on our end. So and that's the other thing with us, unfortunately I shouldn't say it, but we are a small department. You guys know that. And we don't have the specialty units and the IAs and whatever else. So when something like this happens, I mean, I was investigating this for a week, and I was stuck in the office, and I'm technically a working chief's position where I'm supposed to be out there supporting my troops. And it's just very hard for us to juggle back and forth, although we know it's our priority and we know we need to get it done. It's just, it really limits us with serving the community versus, being buried in paperwork and trying to figure things out. So with us, it's a little bit more difficult to handle it, but we do our best. And I just want to let you guys know that we're doing what we can do, and we're doing everything as we should with everybody's help involved. So I'm getting tips and tricks and everything else. So, and I thank Anne Arundel County Police because I was in touch with them and they directed me. I thank the sheriff's office. They've been in contact with me. So everybody's reached out to help us. So I'm very grateful for that because we're, like I said, a little train that could, but we're trying the best we can here. So, but otherwise than that was like I said, that's our second report. And I guess our second complaint ever. So we're not unsatisfied by that. But at the same time, like I said, I don't know that there's much behind it. I know the policies and procedures related to it, I believe we did not violate. And that's where it sits right now. So we're just waiting for the ACC here. So that's all I have at this particular point in time.
Great, thank you. And I didn't want to volunteer the other agencies, but I didn't have to because I'm glad that they've been helpful in reaching out. And I know that they've collaborated. And obviously, like in Anne Arundel and in Annapolis, they get more volume because they have more officers and they have more jurisdictions. So certainly they've been able to fine tune their approach. And I'm glad that they've been able to reach out and be helpful. And obviously, however we can be helpful, we would like to be helpful. Moya and Jen are amazing and sometimes can, answer questions or send us show us in the right direction to where we can find information. So if you ever find yourself, in a situation where you need information, certainly reach out and we will help the best that we can. But I'm very happy to hear about the collaborative effort between the agencies and folks stepping up and being willing to help. Any questions from board members? I did want to ask, because I know while you're small and mighty, I feel like your agency does do a lot of community outreach and involvement. I don't know if there were any things that you have been engaged in with the community since the last report. And if there was, we would love to hear about it.
We're really heavy in our elementary schools. We have two of them within a mile of each other, not even a mile. And actually, Sergeant Sims is being honored by the elementary school for his community service in there in a big gala at, I guess, Maryland Live next month. So we're very happy about that. Like I said, he has really gone above and beyond, considering we don't really have an SRO program, but he's basically their SRO, and he's in there all the time, as well as I am. I even taught third grade math the other day. So we're in these schools and we're trying to teach our children, young, that we're not the bad guys, that we're here to help them in any way we can. We used to see them all the time on the crosswalks, but now that that's sort of built back up and we have crossing guards back in Anne Arundel County, we've been removed from that duty, which we're thankful for, but we miss the community engagement with our kids every morning. So, but being back in the schools and that kind of thing's been huge, and we love it. And like I said, we're glad Sergeant Sims is being honored by that. And I think we have a couple festivities coming up this weekend. We have our big Easter egg hunt here, which we'll get out in the community and hide eggs, and we have a cherry blossom festival and whatnot. But I think we have a fall or a spring festival on the green planned. And as far as our engagements, we have most of our big engagements come in the fall time, where we're actually out there with our trunk or treat and all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to create new ways of actually getting out there into the community, and really, that's about it. But yeah, we're big time in the schools. And that's where we try to, like I said, we need to be there when they're at their young stages and impressionable stages and make sure we're making that good impression, saying, we're the good guys. We're here to help. So.
Great. Thank you for that. And thank you for sharing about Sergeant Sims. Congratulations. That's a big deal. And it's great to hear that he's being, honored and recognized for all of his work with the school. So congratulations.
I will pass it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. All right, seeing no other questions, thank you so much again. Again, you're welcome to stay, but you are also welcome to leave. All right, moving on, we have the sheriff's office. I asked you last time, so it's Captain Vanersdale. Vanersdale,
Very close. That's good.
say it for me one time.
Van Orsdale.
Van Orsdale. Thank you. I'm gonna get it right the next time. I'm gonna say it exactly right. Van Orsdale, not Vanersdale, Van Orsdale. Okay, great. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you. Last week I had sent you a correspondence in reference to the number of complaints we've had since July 22, and that number was 27, and that was 3 over what we had in the last time period of the meeting. Regrettably, we got another complaint since then, so I incorporated that into tonight. That way we would have 28 complaints since 2022, and of those would have been 4 since the last quarterly meeting. Just a little background on our complaints, if you'd like to hear them. We've got a complaint about someone lodged discrimination and unlawfully seized at the courthouse. Our second one would have been abuse of authority when a person was not permitted in the courtroom. The third one was information they allege, complainant alleged misconduct or release of information and to a family member and ended up on a computer on YouTube or whatever, a website, excuse me. And the last one was a citizen's complaint of harassment during execution of one of our court documents. The trends we see, we don't have a trend right now. Everything that we look at seems like accusations of procedural violations. On compliments, unfortunately, we haven't gotten any this last quarterly. Now, we do a lot of community events, as I wrote the other day to you all, just give you a little background on them. But of course, we have the Sheriff Sesker. He has the 1-2-1 program that he talks to the community. We've been to the 7 community center meetings twice now, and using that to identify pending events they have coming up. The third one was we had 2 food drives. Fourth one I'll mention is the honorees recognized as Black History Heroes at Maryland Live Casino. Morse Hills community meeting behind DMV in Glen Burnie. We did Toys for Tots. And basically, we have no more relevant information that would be any assistance to the board.
All right, thank you so much. And I have to say, I love your letter. That just breaks everything down for us. I'm a visual person and I like just the facts. So, we might be sharing that format if you don't mind, if other people feel so inclined to do the same. Obviously, if you have many more complaints, that may not be as easily to put together, but we do appreciate it. Thank you. I love just being able to see that and refer to it and thank you for including all of the things that we've asked for. It relates to the number of complaints, the types of complaints, and the engagements that you've had with the community. So it's great to have that information as a reference guide, and so we are very grateful for that. Are there any questions from board members?
One thing I will mention is any other organization that needs our assistance with the Sheriff's Office or a format certainly can contact us and we'll give them assistance in any way we can.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, seeing no questions. Thank you again, Captain Van Orsdale, for being with us. I gave myself a little reminder of how to say it correctly, so we will say it correctly moving forward. Thank you for your time this evening. I greatly appreciate it. And again, you're welcome to stay or not. Up to you. Thank you. All right, we have the Annapolis Police Department. We have Miss Rhonda McCoy. Thanks for being here tonight, Rhonda.
Thank you, and happy Maryland Day to one and all.
That's right. It is Maryland Day.
Okay, so Annapolis has 31 complaints since July of 2022. We've had 7 new cases since our last meeting. We've also had 4 written compliments since our last meeting, 2 of which we sent to you because we were, just so ecstatic, like, hey, let them read this. We have sent 3 cases over to the ACC for adjudication since our last meeting. 1 case involved 4 officers, 1 case involved 2 officers, and 1 case involved 1 officers. All the officers who were given discipline accepted their discipline, and all of those cases are now fully adjudicated. We have an overall trend since July, and it seems to be that most people are complaining that officers didn't investigate their criminal complaint correctly. That seems to be a trend that we get, and of that, we've had some cases unfounded or exonerated, and some cases sustained or administratively charged. We have been training. It falls underneath my command now, so we put in training protocol just to go over it with officers, and we have a very, very rigorous training program now, which we've now gone to a yearly format where you have continuous training. So when we do see trends and patterns, we can put up a training for officers, even if it does come back unfounded or not administratively charged. We still want to go over the policy and procedures with the officers. It's been rough, I think, since the last time I talked to you guys. I told you that we had 1 case that was scheduled where an officer prayed an administrative hearing, and we just finalized that proceeding, with the courts and with Anne Arundel County, where we have MOUs. So it's taken that long, and from what I'm gathering, all the other counties are having similar circumstances where this is a very, very long, process of getting, an administrative hearing on board. So we just sent our requests to Moya and the folks so we can get things scheduled. And hopefully by our next meeting, we'll have put that the administrative hearing behind us, and I can report that that case has been adjudicated. I want to highlight our advocate who has been going out and going to about 3 to 4 community meetings since since the last time we spoke, and talking about the process. She also has assisted individuals, in navigating the system who are just, not familiar with or I won't say computer illiterate, but we're having some struggles, and have come and assisted them in getting their complaint into the system, which, we're happy to have her there. We have a very, very, anybody who knows anything about Annapolis, Chief Jackson is, I call him Mr. Community Service because we have a very, very rigorous community service unit that does a myriad of different things that, I'm not going to run down, because they do so much every day, which, they started a boxing program. We have a reentry program. There is a myriad of things that they do on a regular basis. The last time we talked, I told you guys that we regularly do presentations. We'll be doing a presentation about the police department and its status, where I'll be presenting the same as I'm presenting for you and opening up for questions to the NAACP on April 20th. The last time we talked, I told you guys that, I would ensure that you all get an invitation to that. But, since this is a meeting for the NAACP, I will have to ask for permission for you guys to come for that question and answer session. And that will be at the Annapolis Police Department. On April 15th, we have a promotion ceremony. And we would like for you all, if you can, to come out. And we have a number of officers who are being promoted, and some who have retired. And we would like you all to come out and celebrate them, if you could. And one other thing that I'm not smiling about this is I got the grants that were up for offering through the state. And one grant that was not on the list was the PAC grant. And as I've reported before, I've used the PAC grant funding for our advocates position, for the civilian investigator in our internal affairs, and for our body-worn camera supervisor, as well as our, body-worn camera monitor. We have a vigorous body-worn camera unit now. They do body-worn camera auditing, and they also take care of MPIA requests, and they also facilitate getting the videos that we need redacted for certain things. So I'll be in a mode of trying to look for funding so we can keep those positions. But if I would hope, well, I know the state is now in a deficit, and we were looking for, I kind of figured that there would be some cuts. I just didn't figure they would cut that. But they have, but I'm resourceful. So I'll find something to keep what I want. And on that note, I'll take any questions.
Thank you so much for that very thorough and informative update. Very sorry to hear about the PAC grant. Yes, I'm in the middle of the legislative session and very happy that it'll be done in 2 weeks. And as those of you that follow what's going on in Annapolis right now, the budget situation for the state is not great. So sorry to hear that, you were impacted by all the tough choices that the legislators and the administration has to make. But I agree, you are resourceful. And so I'm super confident that if anyone can find the funding or find something, it'll definitely be you. And then something that you said, thank you for reminding us about the question and answer with the NAACP and your promotion ceremony. Just a friendly reminder to the other agencies, if you have things going on that you think we would be interested in participating, please send along our way, and we will be sure Moya and Jen or myself will make sure all the members receive the information. Or if things are going on in the community, you're hearing of, that's like open to the public, that you think we might be interested in, just in the event that we haven't heard about it, certainly please send it our way, because as we've mentioned previously, we are looking, at all the different ways that we can be more engaged with the community. And so welcome all information opportunities. Any questions for Ms. McCoy? All right.
Help.
I mean, if you want me to, no, I'm sure. But no, thank you again for that update. Much appreciated. Good luck with finding another source to be able to fund those positions, because as you mentioned, they play pivotal and critical roles in the work that you do, and particularly with the community. So we hope you're able to find something. All right, well, last and certainly not least, we have Anne Arundel County Police Department, and we have Captain Schultz and Lieutenant Ott. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening, Ms. Ortiz and members of the board. It's nice to be back. So I've been away from the department for the past 10 weeks, attending the FBI National Academy. I know we spoke about that last time. And so I'll give you a little bit of a brief overview of what I've been doing for the past 10 weeks. And but before I even get started on that, I think the first thing I'd like to get started on is to just say thank you. I owe a huge thank you to the department, to the chief of police, to the executive command staff, and most importantly, to the person that's been in my position, and that's Lieutenant Ott. He's been the acting commander and the acting captain of professional standards. He's been working with Miss Panda and Miss Rogers for the past few months. I know he's been working with members of the ACC. He's been working with our legal department. He's been working with the Police Accountability Board to finalize the end of year report. While I was at the National Academy, I had a chance to review it and to let all of you know that are watching and that are here tonight and members of both of these committees. The FBI National Academy is not only attended by people, law enforcement commanders, and those that are up and coming commanders, lieutenants, captains, and those aspiring to be leaders throughout the nation, but it is an international audience. I had 198 students that were there, and 24 of them were from all over the world. And my experience there was something that I just didn't expect. The collaboration that you have among those group of individuals is something that it far surpassed my expectations. But what was interesting to me was where we sit, not only in Maryland, but where we sit in Anne Arundel County. The work that's done here was received so well by not only the people that were in attendance, but also the instructors and the individuals at the FBI Academy that were blown away by the work that we do. We are truly on the map. And I was asked by quite a few people there that wanted to see the matrix that we utilize and all of the other tools that we are utilizing, the evidence.com procedures that we use to funnel information back and forth. All of these things intrigued them. And most of my evenings were spent with people in the professional standards community or chiefs of other police departments asking me what we're doing. So for all those people that have been part of allowing me to go through the past 10 weeks, I say thank you. I also say thank you to the community because the experience is obviously afforded to you by those that are in this community and let you take part in something like that. So last time we spoke, one of the things I know, Ms. Ortiz, you just said, please extend to us invitations. And the last time we spoke, Assistant Chief Lowry, there was a conversation back and forth between the panel and the Assistant Chief regarding our juvenile diversion program. And a lot has taken place between the last time we spoke and today. And one of the things that I spoke to the Assistant Chief and the Chief about today was the success and the meetings that have taken place between December and today. On March 6th, the Chief and our executive command staff met with the NAACP, met with the president at headquarters, and a meeting to discuss the program itself. Our Fresh Start program is what it's called, and the Joins program. And a lot of the things that Mr. Delp was talking about, and all of the things that we do here, not only with our CIT program, but also the things that we do in our diversion program to help kids. And I know he was referring to and help our juveniles, the things that he was referring to about the resources that they need at that young age and how they move into adulthood. And there's also things we talked about at the National Academy. There was another meeting that took place on March 16th. And once the president saw the success, he called the NAACP members into another meeting that took place in Annapolis City headquarters. That meeting was largely attended. And so we'd like to extend the invite to your group and say that you can either contact me or you can contact anyone in the group, but I would prefer that you just go through me, Miss Panda or Miss Rogers. You can easily email me and I will get you in touch and get a meeting like that scheduled up for you. They've presented to MACO, they've presented to the House Judiciary Committee at this point. So that group is well versed in presenting, I think, everything that you're looking for. We have a lot of agency partners that partner with them right now. A lot of our faith-based leaders and our nonprofit organizations are working with them. I met with one of our sergeants today that said one of our greatest outreach methods is providing students that are in that program with clothing and professional attire so that they can attend career development events. So if you're looking to be involved in something like that, and there are people out there that are saying, what can I do? That is something that I know that the faith-based organizations in the career development field are looking to do, or people building resumes. And if you have expertise in those kinds of things, that's exactly what the kind of involvement that I know we're looking for as well, to sort of bolster that development program. So just wanted to touch on that because I know it was a big question that came up last time. And then we've also had some developments in our community engagement dashboard, our complaint dashboard. And if you don't mind, I'd like to take a moment to share my screen with you. That's something that while I was gone, Lieutenant Ott, he was the acting captain at the time, worked with one of our detectives and he developed some changes in that. And I'd like to share that with you now. Can everyone see that or no?
No. There we go.
Okay, hang on one sec. So to navigate to the site, you would go to department feedback, and there is a tab right here that you would click on. Move some things out of the way here. And scrolling down, we've made some changes. I noticed in the annual report that there was a listing and we were capturing cases regarding charges and things saying administratively charged. And Lieutenant Ott did an incredible job of, if you can see here, where it says total allegations. And those are, in our world, as complaints come in and as they go out, we wanted to capture those in more of a format that was mirroring what the report said. So this is a more of an accurate depiction of what you're seeing here is our cases that we had for the year, the allegations that we had relative to those cases. So this will tell you here that a case, what one is, and they can involve more than one officers, but this is a conglomerate of the allegations that we saw throughout the year. Obviously, we should point out that, we do take a high volume of calls, and this was the total number of cases that we had throughout the year that we did investigate. Where there is a breakdown, and you can see this is obviously a very, we want everyone to take a look at this, but this is a very interactive dashboard. And as we move down the dashboard, we did break this down, and we're showing that there are origins of allegations here that show you that 52% of our complaints came in from members of the public, and then we have 47% of them were internal complaints. It doesn't necessarily mean that the public was not involved in an internal complaint. It just means that that 47% were internally generated. There is a statistic that does show you, I'm going to just regenerate that for a minute, that does show you that 21% of the the cases we did investigate over here, 21% of them did not involve a member of the public, of the cases that we did actually investigate. So if I click on the ones that involved a member of the public and that went to the ACC, if you were to click on that, you'd see that 78% of the cases we investigated, this is probably going to give you the most accurate depiction of what the ACC looked at. And you're asking about trends, and this will show you the trends that we, for the most part, see. A lot of things are performance related, policy related, as far as the allegations coming in, and also what the ACC is sustaining, what is unfounded, exonerated. We do have a few cases that are pending and some other things that were not sustained, but this gives you a very, very good snapshot. It's very difficult on one page to show everything that we'd like to show, but it is right now our best effort. If we had a few more data analysts, I'm sure we could do some more things. But at this point, this is sort of one of our works in progress that we will continue to work on. We want to show you as much data as we possibly can. So does anybody have any questions related to that? Because I think as we move forward, the only thing I'm going to ask Lieutenant Ott to share on is our quarterly report, but I'll open the floor up to any questions right now regarding that.
Thank you, Captain Schultz, for that background and for providing this dashboard. I'm super visual, so I really like being able to capture all of this information on one page in a dynamic fashion. So thank you so much for all the work that you all are doing to continue to improve the dashboard and for sharing it. Any questions from board members?
No questions, but I too want to compliment them on the dashboard. It's quite good. And I'm another visual person, so it really helps explain things in a way that can be a little difficult to understand sometimes. So you've done a great job on that.
Thank you. And please take an opportunity. You can get to that our AA County Police website, and then if you just click on department feedback, the drop down on the left hand side, it'll take you right to that, and then just click on 2023. And then again, if you have any questions, please feel free to call us or shoot us an email, and we'll walk you through any questions that you have. And like I said, it's pretty interactive. So if you have any issues with it, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you. And Lieutenant Ott, if you don't mind, can you go over just our recent quarter, since I wasn't here and I'm not quite up to speed on all the things that we have since I've only been back a week?
Yes, sir. Good evening, members of the board. So just to carry over from the dashboard that was all of 2023. Currently, we have 14 open case investigations. 10 of those involve a member of the public. 4 are internally related that don't involve a member of the public. Overall, we have 31 total open inquiry cases through internal affairs. The difference in the number is accounted for either things that are prepared for mediation or district level resolution or cases that have been withdrawn. So active investigations for the current quarter is, like I said, 14, 10 involving the public. Feedback from the ACC for the current quarter, year to date, we processed 9 cases through the ACC that have been adjudicated this quarter. Currently, there are 3 cases sitting with them waiting to be heard, I believe April 1st. One of those is an actual current case from 2024 that we were able to get down there, and then 2 are carryovers from 2023. 7 compliments have been received through our portal. related to officer performance from the public, and those have all gone directly to the officers, and I know they do appreciate that. That is what we have as far as data reporting for the current quarter. Just reporting in on things that I've done. Recently, I attended the PERF, the Police Executive Research Forum. They hosted a seminar in Annapolis for the Maryland Police Accountability Act. It was very helpful. Agencies and PABs from around the state met to talk about things that we can improve, the things that are going well with the MPAA and in law enforcement. So that was very helpful, and they're due to issue a report later this year to kind of guide us on best practices. So looking forward to that coming out. Other than that, that rounds everything out from our side down in the numbers. So open to any questions.
Thank you so much for providing that information. I see Cedric's hand up.
Yeah, Lieutenant Orr, just a quick question. Comparing apples to apples, and what I mean by that is quarter to quarter, 23 to 22. How do those numbers compare to each other? Are they up, down? Where are we at with that data?
Kind of running steady. I haven't really seen any trend or any significant up or down. I'd like to go to another quarter as it carries through the year to be able to report if we're up or down overall.
Okay. Also, that data, that dashboard you created, do you have any plans to break out a section that's exclusively for a category that we don't often talk about? And that category would be law enforcement complaining on another law enforcement officer. Do you get any complaints like that would be a part of the PAB? I think that there's a law that says a part of the PAB requirement for law enforcement is to report another officer that does something wrong. You are mandated to do that. I think that's how that is interpreted by your profession, correct?
Yes, sir. So if you look at that dashboard, the origins allegation, that's kind of what we're going at for there, not specifically at what rank it comes from, but anything that would have that title of an allegation that had an internal report would have been somebody internally that reported on another officer. Now, what we're not going to desegregate was that a commander, fellow officer, equal rank, but that is at least showing the picture that internally there is accountability on allegations of misconduct.
Okay.
And some of, I guess while I have the floor and kind of just touching from what you mentioned, the purpose of reworking that dashboard is to highlight the old way we kind of publicly reported didn't touch on that cases might have more than one type of allegation. So this allows us to report out that a complaint came in. We often use the word a complaint, but that complaint might have nuanced levels of misconduct that are different, related to different policies. So what we did was created a list of the most common, it's about 10 to 12 allegation categories that we're now reporting out. Those categories may have many different index code policy directives tied to it, but it's trying to give a category that is drilled down generally that we can report data trends to. And as you see, that performance level, other policy violations are up there towards the top.
Thank you for that information.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? All right, I just want to say thank you again. Definitely encourage folks to take a look at the dashboard on the PAB, members of the public. I think this is great and helpful, and really happy to hear that, you're looking at ways to make it even more user-friendly over time. So if we have any recommendations, we'll certainly be sure to share them. And I appreciate the fact that you wanted to align it, with the way that we're reporting things out so that, folks can look at it and it is an apples to apples. And I think a lot of times with data, what you find is, there's not necessarily uniformity across the board sometimes. And so sometimes people, can't kind of figure out, what's going on, or it looks like, somebody is saying one thing or that the data is different when it really is the same. It's just being reported a little differently. So I really appreciate the efforts taken to make it as, consistent with how our report has been reporting things out, because I think that's extremely helpful to us and also members of the public. Captain Schultz, welcome back, and so happy to hear that you had such a positive experience with this FBI training, and that, Anne Arundel County and Anne Arundel County Police Department in particular has received, such positive views from folks around the country, and it's not the first time we've heard that. So very, happy to hear that it was a positive experience, and, you're able to share all the good work that we're doing here in Anne Arundel County. Definitely I personally, I'm sure other members, if not all, very interested in the juvenile diversion program and how we could be helpful. So we'll certainly be reaching out to get more information about that. And Lieutenant Ott, thank you so much for mentioning the PERF Summit. Ms. Panda and I also attended, and it was very interesting and enlightening, to hear kind of all of the perspectives from all over the state. As folks may recall, we pulled together our own little mini summit of PAB staff and chairs from about, I don't know, like 12, 13 different counties. We didn't have the space to do like all the chairs and the ACC and the law enforcement, but just, this was in the fall because we wanted to know, how's everybody doing? How are they feeling? Like, are we looking at the law and interpreting it the same way? Are there things that we can share? And there definitely was a lot of uniformity in some of the, challenges or, things that we've learned, things that we were doing. So I found what we did in the fall to be helpful, and this most recent meeting to be really kind of eye-opening, and goes to show, just from the state perspective, one of our recommendations is that there should be one entity in the state that really has sort of like the oversight authority and is really that resource for the PABs and the ACCs and the law enforcement agencies and the implementation of the law, because it was evident to me anyway that the Maryland Police Training and Standards Commission, they're doing the best that they can with the resources that they have, but I feel like they probably need a lot more resources. And it's, really impressive what they've been able to do in such a short time frame, and with probably nowhere near the resources that they would need to meet the need of the entire state and everything that we're doing. So hopefully everybody found that to be a learning experience. And we'll have something like that, a statewide kind of conference, if you will, moving forward. So yes, we were well represented at the summit. All right, any questions? All right, well, thank you again for being here this evening. We really appreciate all of that information. And you are, again, welcome to stay, but certainly are not required to do so. Okay, trying to pull up my agenda here. So next on the agenda, any new business? I think I probably said the new business about our attendance in this PERF Summit a couple weeks ago. I don't have anything else. Ms. Panda, do you have anything else?
I do not, thank you.
Anyone have anything they wanted to share related to the work that we're doing? Okay, great. So we do not have a meeting in April. Our next meeting, as Ms. Panda stated earlier, is scheduled for May 20 at 6:30. The week's a little bit different given the Memorial Day holiday on the 27th. So we'll be meeting a week early on Monday, May 20th. And if there are no other questions or comments from members, I move to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion?
Okay.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. Have a good evening. Thank you.